Good morning, guys. Yeah, we still have some severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. The watch has been canceled just because it was in an area where the threat is over, but we still have some severe thunderstorm warnings to the south that go until 7:15 from Harrison and Jasper and Marshall this morning that are continuing because there's still some damaging wind gusts to 60 miles per hour possible there. The rest of the line has weakened some, but we still have a flash flood warning up as well. Here's a look at some of those winds on radar again. Looking at some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour possible, and we know that this line is capable of that. It has done that, but it has overall weakened a little bit as it heads south. That's why we're not really finding those warnings over to the east. It is 70 degrees in West Plains, 63 degrees in Harrison. Starting out stormy this morning, reports of power lines and trees down blocking roads. Also be careful near low water crossings. Flash flooding is also an issue this morning. We could have some redeveloping storms this afternoon. That's why we've got the marginal risk, but it looks like the action's happening now. The juice has been used, so maybe we get a storm with quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, but that threat looks pretty low. Storms we have now clear by midday. Temperatures in the 80s this afternoon. We'll keep a couple of showers and storms possible tonight and into tomorrow. They look a little bit more isolated. So damaging winds continuing to dive south into Arkansas this morning. An isolated afternoon storm possible. And then we turn hot and dry by the weekend. Heat index values near 100. After that, we're still tracking a tropical storm. This is Cristobal that is spinning near in Mexico. That surges northward with some tropical remnants possibly getting into the Ozarks by Tuesday of next week. Joe, Jen.
All right, these storms are what we're watching now. Power lines down and some small debris scattered around Springfield as well. Color 10's Nigel McDonald is live in Springfield with some of the damage that's been going on. Nigel, good morning.
Well, good morning, Joe. We are here at the intersection of Pythian and Fairfax, and a portion of Pythian is actually closed right now. As you can see behind me, cars are still trying to get by, but they are closed, and this portion of Pythian is closed because of this power line that is out right now and down onto the street. City Utilities has a truck here with lights flashing, trying to remind residents, please, please, please avoid this area. Now, the storm knocked a huge power pole and strung live power lines across the road. Now that's what we're seeing right now. Those power lines are still on the road right now, which is why you cannot drive by this area. Now, City Utilities, they are on scene right now, and they were able to turn the power off. Now they're trying to clear the area. Then comes the long process of repairing this damage. Now, additional crews are throughout Springfield. We heard word of a tree branch falling onto power lines near East University and East Stanford. We also know that these storms have caused thousands of people across the Ozarks to wake up without power. And we have latest numbers right now, which is co-ops over 1,400 in Greene County. You're waking up without power, and over 1,500 in Christian County are without power. And even City Utilities, over 2,000 people are without power. Now, City Utilities is also showing that these numbers are continuing to climb. Now, with power lines down, stop lights out, and possible debris on the road, we're encouraging you to please take your time this morning. Again, we are at the intersection of Pythian and Fairfax, and a portion of Pythian is closed. So if this is part of your morning commute to work or wherever you might be going this morning, please find an alternate route this morning. Reporting live in Springfield, Nigel McDonald, Ozarks First.
All right, thank you, Nigel. We want to take a second to revisit some of those maps that you see right here. Your counties in the red means that at least 1,000 people are without power or more, and those red counties are actually Greene and Christian County. You heard her say that. More than 1,000 in Christian County without power right now, and in Greene County, you just heard Nigel tell us about 1,400 there too. We have some counties in orange, meaning 500 to just under 1,000 people. That's Lawrence County, also without some power right now, and then also in Stone County. Now, Jen, you've also been looking at some of these other outage maps too, right?
Yes, let's take a look at the Springfield City Utilities power outage map, where it shows the latest was 2,000 customers are without power, and that's just CU customers. And we also saw it wasn't just focused in one area, but it was all across town in some of the hardest hit hit areas of power outages is in North Springfield around Doling Park, all the way up near the fairgrounds, and that location is showing nearly 600 customers without power there.
The Ozarks Traffic Map is also a good way to track some things that you might need to look at if you need to get out on the roads. Red diamonds on there are traffic control areas. Some stoplights across town are out, so use extra caution. A stoplight that is out needs to be treated as a four-way stop. Again, this is the Ozarks Traffic Map, and it's something that you can use if you need to head out on your commute, as a lot of areas are without power today.
All right, new this morning for you, Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Ozarks is working to match more than 80 children on its waiting list. The nonprofit did encourage virtual connections during the stay-at-home order, but made the decision to stop making new matches during that time. With the stay-at-home order lifted, the group is now resuming its efforts to match littles with bigs. There is a significant amount of kids in need of a mentor, they tell us. Ashley French serves as CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Ozarks, and she says they're hosting virtual orientation sessions the entire month of June. And during those sessions, people get the opportunity to learn about the impact a big can have on a child.
It's really hard to think, gosh, how can I squeeze one more thing in my day? But it's amazing how just a little bit extra time to be a lunch buddy once a week, to be a big a couple times a month, to hang out with a kiddo that just needs you, and you just have a blast doing it. You can try it virtually. Look at our Facebook page. You can sign up there, and this has made it, you don't have to leave your home. And you've got a great opportunity to connect with others. We a lot of times put current bigs on those calls so they can tell you from their perspective what it's like.
The group recommends anyone who becomes a big to follow the CDC's social distancing guidelines, and you can visit our website, ozarksfirst.com, for a list of days and times for those virtual sessions. Around America for you, at least one NYPD officer was shot in Brooklyn overnight. 3 officers in total were taken to an area hospital with injuries. All 3 are expected to survive. It's unclear what led up to this shooting, and information about any possible suspects was not immediately available. The investigation is ongoing.
New York City police moved in on crowds about an hour past curfew last night to make arrests as protests continued. Officials were hopeful that an earlier curfew and refined police tactics were bringing the city closer to restoring order after these protests from the death of George Floyd. But demonstrators marched throughout the city in largely peaceful events, and like the previous night, were still on the streets once that 8 p.m. curfew had arrived. Protesters in Detroit kept it peaceful, too, after the area's police chief decided not to enforce a curfew. Hundreds of protesters marched to the headquarters of police there after Chief James Craig said he celebrates the charges filed against those 4 Minneapolis police officers. The chief went on to say he knows protesters want their voices heard and that he supported them in that.
San Diego County has requested the National Guard to assist with security in the region due to recent civil unrest. 200 members of the California National Guard were requested to work alongside local enforcement there, and this comes after at least 1,000 U.S. National Guard personnel helped in Los Angeles.
All right, and a quick look around the world. People in Italy moving freely within the country as the pandemic slows. Passengers don't have to provide self-declaration forms that were previously required to explain their trans-regional travel. That's as the pandemic issues there at least slow down a little bit. We want to get one last look at our forecast happening right now. Elisa's been tracking a busy day.
Yeah, we've got that radar still with some showers and storms diving south and east. The good part about it is a lot of the line has weakened and decayed, but we still have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for our north central Arkansas counties until 7:15 for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Maybe a storm or two later on today, but I think, like me, the atmosphere is exhausted from the active morning, you know?
That's a good way to put it.
That's true. It's like, that's what it's happening.
Great way to put it, everyone. Thanks for watching this morning.